This is the waterfall right after a heavy rain. Now there's a little more light on this one, and it may be flowing a little bit more volume. Still raining. You can see the yellow plastic bag I was using to protect the camera from the water. From the top lip there down to the bottom of this pool, you're about to see probably 12 to 15 foot drop. Not one straight drop, but a series of them, as you can see. And the flow there is the reason I don't let the dogs out and let them get into the creek when it's flowing like this, for reasons that you'll see later. They would probably, at least one of them, would probably end up down at the lake. There are some other small waterfalls on downstream, but not as big, nearly as big as this. And there's a waterfall about twice this high across the ridge to the north in another stream. Now that's kind of where it's kind of cleaned up, and that is more of a normal flow during a normal rain period. You can see the rock ledge here. The cabin actually sits up on this. This is Yang. He's trying to figure out how to get down to the level that Yin and I are on. And he doesn't want me to lift him down, but it's a pretty good jump from where he's at. And he'll turn away here in a minute, and I put the camera down, and then I do catch him and bring him down to our level. He is not quite as adventuresome as Yin is. A little more take the safe approach. Okay, now I'm down at the bottom at the creek level, and most of the creek bottom is bedrock, although there are some areas of loose rock or gravel. There's not a lot of them. Now, the creek does dry up in the summertime, but it's still pretty, and then it seeps in the winter, and there's ice builds up on it, like it does on the roadside cuts in the winter where there's seepage. The actual flow of the stream dries up, but usually there's water left in some of the pools by the underground seepage, or not very far down. There are hollows in the rock back under the ledges, and one of or two of them make good storm shelters, and I have a rope in one of them that I can tie around myself, and we should be pretty protected from tornado. Anything's possible, but the creek has steep slopes to the south and to the north, and I'm going to sweep up here toward the cabin, which is on the south facing slope to the north of the creek. You can see that's kind of as it is now, and that's all glass. There's a sliding door where that one looks different, and that's open. There's a screen over it, a hummingbird feeder. You can see kind of the ledges there. That's the one right there where Yang was standing a while ago. This one, the lower one here. And then we're back toward the waterfall. I can hear the waterfall at night. It's good to fall asleep to. Very, very few visitors back in here, which is kind of what I want. There's another view of the waterfall with a little zoom put to it. Okay, we're back above the waterfall now, and this is Yin and Yang. Yin is a water dog. He loves to play in the water. He's the one in the blue, and Yang is not so much a water dog. He doesn't mind it, but he's not the water dog that Yin is, as you can see here. Right up to the edge of the lip. Right after I had my surgery, Yin went off of about a 12-foot bank into a creek that was flowing pretty high from rainfall. I had to go up about 50 yards above there and catch a tree limb and go off the bank. then wade down to the creek to where he was standing on a gravel bar, and bring him back up to where I came down, and then push him up on the bank, and then had to climb out myself. He wasn't hurt or anything, but didn't slow down his sense of adventure for sure. If anything, it said, I mean, maybe demonstrate to him that he thinks, well, led him to think he's invulnerable, maybe. Sorry about my blunder there. Okay. As you can see, he loves to play in the water. Yang wants to wrestle and play or chase each other. And they have several games. But you can see how they glisten. They've got nice coats. They're tight. They look like a little wetsuit on them almost. If they were coal black, it really would. Yang's trying to get down to where he can get a hold of Yin. But Yin's not even paying attention there. He's going to blow some bubbles there. Here goes Yang. If you look at Yang here in a little bit, you can see some pictures of his tail. And he's got like a duck tail, a real sharp point in the hair on his tail. Comes down. Yang doesn't have that little duck tail. Another thing you'll see them do here is shake in a minute. And they start shaking kind of at their head and front shoulders, and it ends right at the tail, as you'll see here. Okay, the head stops and the tail shakes out. They are opposites. They're good dogs, and they complement each other very well, as the Yin and Yang are supposed to be complementary opposites. So, Yang could care less about the water. Yin could stay there all day and just lash and bite at it. When they're running through the snow or grass clippings, the little snowballs or the grass clippings that kick up ahead of them, they do try to bite at them just the same way as Yin's biting at the water. This first part of the video focuses more on Yin, but a little later there's some from the dog park in Columbia that I tried to give Yang some equal time. Yin likes to chew on plastic, and he chewed one of their harnesses and broke the clip, the snap clip, ruined it. And Yin likes to chew on wood. He's always dragging in sticks and barks and walnuts and chewing them up and leaving the fragments on the floor. But I've gotten some hoofs from, I guess, pigs or cows, I'm not sure, that can get from MFA here, and they like to chew on them. Yin's been pulling on that plant, and Yang came over to help him, and he's taken over now. They often do that. Yin tends to let Yang get something, and then he'll come up and want to take it away. There's that point in the tail. They're very muscular and very strong. Got really heavy muscles in the top of their thighs. And if they're both on the leash and there's something that runs across the trail in front of them, you have to work to hold them. Trying to work on that and get them better at the lead. They're not too bad most of the time, but at certain times they really want to go where they want to go. The bottom, as I said before, the bottom of the stream, most of it's bedrock, but it can be very slippery. There are areas of moss, so you want to be careful wading in it. I come down to this spot right here sometimes and take my little shower when I have water in the creek. It's easier than hauling water. It gets kind of cool in the spring and the fall, but that tightens the pores. Ian is getting ready for a big adventure here. He's going to do some exploring in just a little bit, which is kind of the center focus of this part of the video. But now you have a better idea of the pups and what they are like. Just another shot of the waterfall. This is a low flow period, and like I said, it does dry up again, but you can see the rock ledge that right under that little sprinkle becomes important here in just a minute in the video, and you can see the area. I'm going to pan down here to the lower part of the waterfall in just a second, so you can see the sides are pretty steep there. So when you get on the part that's right at the center, or just right to the right of center now, it's hard to get back out of there unless you have pretty good traction. Deer do come down here to drink at times, and then they feed over on that hillside that's to the right. Pretty steep hillsides, and even though the cabin's only part way down the hillside, it does block a lot of the storm winds and things like that. So it's pretty well protected. Some of the oak trees there have lost their tops though, so they're just at a level above the cabin, so it is somewhat vulnerable, but it's pretty well protected. The creek runs east and west. The cabin's on a south-facing slope to the north of the creek. Yeah. Ian just came over to lick my elbow while I was doing narration. Okay. Now we're at the pool at the top of the waterfall. There's a little tail shake. More splash, more sticking your nose now. In just a few seconds, his big adventure will start here. Yang says, I just don't see your fascination with this stuff. This water. And Ian has something in his mouth there, probably a leaf. They go diving. He goes diving and picks up leaves and sticks. But Yang is the one that mostly carries sticks around. At the pond over at the dog park in Columbia, Yang will wade out and get globs of algae and sticks and stuff like that and drag them out. Not sure what he sees in that, but he seems to enjoy it. Okay, come on, Ian. Let's get going here. Okay. Yang's going to go over near the edge. It's about as close to the edge as I've seen him get. Yep. There's Ian. Going to come over and splash a little bit. They are pretty dogs, so they sure like to play. Yangs came up by me there. Says, I want my picture taken. Oh, there's the little tip, the little point on his tail. I think Ian sticks his nose in the water here in a minute, I think, if I remember right. I was doing the narration earlier, and there was a groundhog came up right outside the window and was feeding, and then I stopped, tried to take a picture, and messed up that narration. So this is about my third try here to get this narrated. So bear with me if I seem for a loss for words at times. You'd think I would have it down by now. Okay, yeah, we're going to go up to the next area and then we'll come back down. I thought he would go over and get that little fountain like thing over on the top right there and play with it where the water's shooting up, but he never did go over there as far as I know, unless I wasn't out. I let him run free some of the time for short periods. They were good about coming back. Been working on training them to come back ever since I got them, but okay. Now we're back up that pool just above the waterfall. Indian's been down at the edge of the waterfall. He's going to come up and find a stick here in a minute. There it is. And now he says it's time to really get serious about exploring this area. Okay, I'm moving over toward the edge, and Yang's going to come over and take a look and say, what the heck? And Yin's going to come over and see, check it out. So, now you can see why I don't let them run when the waterfall is flowing at storm volume. Yin especially would end up down at the lake for sure. So, he's trying to figure out whether he wants to take the plunge or not. Like I said, the first ledge there on the left becomes important because that's where he goes. And then the Indiana Jones of the dog world takes over his. And there he goes. Like I said, the sides there are pretty steep to the left and right of him, so he's got himself in a place that's not easy to get out. Because a lot of it, the ledge is okay if the wall went straight down from it. But a lot of it has undercuttings under the ledge, and if he jumps up on that, his hind feet won't hit anything until they swing under the ledge. Then he'll fall back down. So he's got himself sort of a pickle here. Okay. I could just sit here when the water's running, or even if it's quiet and there's no water, and just watch, or set up in the cabin with in the winter. You look out, it's like it's that 24-hour nature channel off to the south of me there on that hillside. Last year, or was it 2 years ago? I guess it was 2 years ago on New Year's Day. I sat, it was raining, and there were about 12 to 15 squirrels running around on the cabin, outside the cabin, swinging through the trees. Looked like a bunch of monkeys playing with gray squirrels. And they've got a whole network, a highway set up of limbs where they can travel all the way out of sight to the south without ever coming down out of the tree. Yin's trying to explore down there, just having fun. Yang's up here by me, but I don't think he ever seriously considered going down there. There's his top of his head there for a minute. In a second. And he says, "Oh, you guys are still up there? What are you doing up there? Let me see here. Do I want to see about coming back up?" Like I said, they got really strong hind legs, and they are good jumpers. Let's see, that doesn't look like the way out of here, so let me think for a minute. What do I want to do? Okay, I think I've got it figured out, so here we go. You can't go that way, so here we go. Ta-da! Here comes Indiana Jones back. Doesn't have his bullwhip though. Good jump there. Alright. Oops, there's that hollow. Oh! Whoop, not quite. Yang says, "Let me get a hold of your nose, I'll pull you up." Yin says, "No thank you." So I go to the rescue. And here we come. Come on there, big dog. Okay. Yeah, we're just about done with the waterfall, so we'll move on to the dog park here in just a few seconds. Ooh, big boom outside here. Yeah, that little tail shake. Yang's checking out some vegetation here. He does a pretty good job of eating grass at times and keeps himself pretty regular and cleaned out. So does Yin. But Yang is more the browser. Okay, we're just about ready to go to the dog park here. And again, there's that little trickle I thought Yin would home in on that, but he never did as far as I know. Yin is almost always on the move. Very seldom he's just standing around looking. Yang's more the observer. Okay, here we go to the dog park. Yang is charging Yin, and Yin's going to chase him. And pause. And then Yang comes back up behind the tree, and they're off. They're pretty when they run. I can sit there and watch them run for hours. And they really like it. Both of them do in their own individual ways. Sometimes Yin leads and sometimes Yang leads. I've concluded that even though it's out of focus a little bit because of that blurb there and Yang's running in recovery. Sticking my ears up and use them for air brakes. Most of the time, unless they're really playing, Yin is out front. As you see in some of this, Yang takes the lead when they're really chasing each other. Yin will run to you a lot of times, and Yang comes in at a trot, although he was running that time. And there's those ears. They look gigantic when they come in. Okay. Yang, again, is a very pretty dog. He has a nice way of moving. It's rather elegant, like a show horse almost here. I think you can see prance almost. And you can see, yeah, you can still make out that little pointed tail. Okay. Yes, you're a handsome guy. Like I said, I would like to watch them run. That shine on them, how slick they are. Those legs are strong. What a pretty rudder. Okay. Here's up to break. And here comes the run to the leader. Most of the time when Yin runs, he has such a happy look on his face, especially when he's being chased. Yin. Okay, like any dogs, they like to find stuff to roll in, as you'll see. They are especially pretty in the early morning sun, coming at a side on their sides. I think Yin is the one who finds the stuff to roll in first. Let's see, we're about ready. I'm gonna go down here. We're ready to go down, Yin. Maybe not. I thought I remembered doing that. There we go. Alright. I hadn't got this far in the narration on the first two tries. I hope it stays this time though. I experimented and it worked right in the experiment, but when I first originally did it, it didn't take, and then I got interrupted by the groundhog low and I couldn't get the restart. Anyway, both of them had a chance to roll, and I moved in and zoomed on them, and Yang was about the only one rolling there. I just looked so pleased with himself when he completes that roll. There's that point on his tail. Good little ribbon and tie on that. He says, well, if one good roll or one good turn deserves another. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And we go back home. Yeah, here we go. Let's do it again. Yeah. Oh, that's such good stuff. Now I'm all pretty and all perfumed. There's the shake and the shimmer. Look at that shine. The tail shake. Okay. I've got a couple of minutes here. We're about done now. I wanted this one to... There's a little bird in the video. But I wanted to get Yang out in that sunlight here when he comes out in there. There he is. Woo. Almost anyway. They're really pretty graceful most of the time. And they can be clumsy, as you saw in that one little part that was out of focus. But yeah, look at that. They get fish oil in their diet because it's healthy for them. And they're on a very good, high quality puppy food. For another couple of months, when they're about a year old, I can switch them to adult food. They've had good care though during their life, and they've had a happy puppyhood, I think. Taken a lot of pains to see that they have. They're not the best behaved in terms of formal training, but they do pretty good. And we're still working on some stuff. Okay, time for the charge. Here comes the lion of the Serengeti chasing the antelope. Yep, gotta look at the camera. Okay, the lion's still after the antelope. The antelope says, you can't catch me. Oh, get a break here and turn. And the antelope's gonna duck under the trees, I guess. Go under the low lying limbs. They do this with larger dogs when they're at the dog park, and larger dogs are chasing. And occasionally they will go over the table, or onto it and over. Okay, just a little bit more sunshine. And Yin does lead in the chase quite a bit of the time. They do trade off and play good together. No real fights with them. So that's Yin and Yang.